Hi everyone, Chip Albert here. As part of my job and personal interest, I test out a lot of different software. And one of the little tricks that I use is to use VMware Fusion, where I install the software onto a VM, so that way I don't need to constantly re-image my machine when it starts to get bogged down. One of the new features that sort of came out when I just updated to VMware Fusion 6 was a really easy way to install OS 10 onto my in my VMware Fusion library without having to jump through a bunch of extra hoops the way I used to. And it sort of inspired me to make this video in hopes that it might help somebody else. So go ahead and crack open VMware Fusion. Go to your virtual machine library if you haven't already. You can click Add and then click New. You get a bunch of different options here, but we're not going to choose any of those. Click More Options. And now you can see that it lets you install OS 10 from the recovery partition, which is sort of a little piece of the hard drive that Apple sets aside so that you can rescue your machine without needing a CD or any USB keys. So we're going to go ahead and select that. Click Continue. It'll say choose a recovery partition. It takes a few minutes here. Okay, and once you find that, you see I got gives me one to choose. You can name this anything that you want to name it. I've already got one on here so that I could sort of fast forward through the process a little bit for the video. But go ahead and select a name. Now it'll copy your disk over and do a bunch of stuff. This part of the process takes about 5 minutes. So basically we'll use the magic of editing to fast forward. Alright, you can see that it just got done building its virtual machine image, and it gives me a little list here of some defaults, and I can adjust all of this stuff later, but basically it's set aside 40 gigs and 2 gigs of RAM in addition to 2 of my cores to go ahead and use for the OS. And like I said, you can adjust all that later, so don't worry about it now. You'll click Finish, and you can see that it'll open up my VM here. It'll take a few minutes to sort of boot into it, and then basically this is going to look just like any other re-imaging of a Mac process that you've ever done. And you get your little Apple logo. After a few minutes here, which we'll probably skip through, it'll give you all the options just like you're installing your Mac from square one. Alright, the Apple installer is just come back up, and you can see this is just like the OS 10 restore process if you've ever done that. To install this, we're going to pick on reinstall OS 10, and we'll click continue here. And then basically from here, like I said, you're going to walk through all of the various Mavericks installation processes. It's going to check through a bunch of things and a bunch of Apple ID processes, but really everything else is going to be the same. I just wanted everyone to see to click on that install from the recovery partition dialog. We're going to go ahead and fast forward here a little bit, and that I've already got an OS loaded up, so let me go ahead and show you that. And we'll go ahead and log into here, and basically you can see here that this is just like the normal Apple OS, and I can go ahead and go through the process of installing anything that I want to install on this without really making a mess of my daily use computer. One thing I did want everybody to sort of make a note on was the taking snapshots. You can see I've already taken one, but you can basically use this process to take a snapshot, and essentially this will save the machine state exactly where it is. So you can take a snapshot before you install a bunch of software or do something else that's going to create a mess for you, and then after you're done testing or piloting whatever, you can simply just restore it back to where you were at and not have to re-image your machine or even make a new VM. So this is just an incredibly time efficient process for people that have to test different things out. In any case, I hope that's helpful. This process used to be a little bit more tricky. You had to sort of jump through a bunch of hoops to get it to load, but this is really straightforward. I think you can get your whole image and everything done in about 20 minutes.